Welcome to the Big Bid Theory. Bill Culhane, as usual. Jim Ward is behind the mic with me. Raise your hand if you support our veterans. If you're a veteran of the greatest military in the history of mankind, Jim and I salute you. During this episode, we visit with one of the leaders who helps veteran-owned businesses. We also ask the question, why is the government spending on gender consultants? You heard me right. Stick around for that, and off we go. Jim, the Big Bid Theory has now been picked up by Google Play and also Pocket Cast. A recent episode was trending. You and Lauren, our audience, do such a great job of spreading the TBBT message. Your smile on your face right now, my friend, is well-deserved. How goes things? What have you been up to, partner?
Hello, Bill. Just getting through with my yoga practice, so that's something new for me. The thing about yoga I'm learning, first off, a shout out to Yogi Yoga, or Yoga Squared, here in Austin. I've been practicing yoga, so I've been to 4 classes. So, Bill, you practice, you don't play it.
Is yoga one of those things you ever perfect?
They say no, but I think they're just saying that. I think it's marketing. So I've won 3 out of the 4 classes. Now, There's a competition? Well, I've created my own scoring system in my head. And I'll be frank, one of the classes I was just off. Like the teacher would say, go to the left, and I would go to the right and be staring at everyone.
Yeah, directions are difficult.
They are, but yeah, no, I really have tried. It was a big deal for me. It's hard for a guy to go into a class full of, mostly women that know what they're doing and contort your body in ways that are foreign to you. But yeah, I've been winning. So
okay.
So
All right. Well, then we'll let our audience know that we'll keep them apprised of your success or lack thereof in your yoga. So we've got a lot going on. Let's go ahead and get started. Our listeners will likely recall that towards the end of last season, we had Angel Carrera on from DGS in California. Well, to further expand the conversation on veteran-owned businesses, the U.S. Small Business Administration has 15 organizations participating in a cooperative agreement and serving as Veterans Business Outreach Centers. We are appreciative to visit with David Elizondo, the Program Director for the Veterans Business Outreach Program covering the states of Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas.
First of all, David, we appreciate you joining us here on the Big Bid Theory. We understand you've been busy with important business in Austin. Again, we very much, on behalf of our listeners and our staff here at the podcast, appreciate you joining us. And first off, David, for the benefit of our listeners, what are a few of the services provided by the Veterans Business Outreach Program?
Sure. So our office is designed for veterans who aspire becoming small business owners. In the case of starting a small business, buying an existing small business, or even starting a franchise, we assist them along the way with business training, counseling, and mentoring, and we also refer them to resource partners as deemed necessary. So, for example, if there are veterans that are interested in government contracting, there's offices located all across Texas called PTAC, Procurement Technical Assistance Center, and their sole mission is to help service members and non-service members as well, who are interested in becoming or government contracting, regardless of it's state, local, or federal.
Yeah, we actually had Terry Williams on from, I'm not sure if you know Terry, from PTAC in San Antonio. She was kind enough to, yeah, exactly. She was kind enough to visit with us last season, and you're exactly right, David. PTAC, they offer a number of tremendous solutions for our veterans.
Right.
David, this is Jim Ward with the Big Bid Theory. So, as Bill noted, we had spoken with Terry Williams in San Antonio before, which we love, hashtag Terry Williams. But we'd also spoken with Mr. Angel Carrera with the DVBA in California. And he was telling us just what a positive environment it was right now for veteran-owned businesses. What's your take on that?
The first thing that veterans ask is, what is the incentive for going into business? And the first thing I tried to relay to them was, well, first off, you're talking to us at no charge. We are a nonprofit organization that's funded by the Small Business Administration. So veterans right off the bat have our services at no cost. And speaking with veterans in the past where they spoke with the consultants where they're paying hundreds if not thousands of dollars for the same services that we are offering at no cost. Additionally, we try to point veterans to certain areas where it's extremely valuable to talk to certain banks, such as having lower interest rate, having certain fees waived for being a veteran going into small business.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So if we have a disabled veteran-owned or veteran-owned business and they want to do business with the government outside of their home state, which states, if any, accept or give priority to disabled veteran or veteran-owned companies?
Well, across the United States, there's a mandatory 3% that must be contract with disabled veteran-owned small business. As far as, unfortunately, the state of Texas doesn't have that mandate yet, but I know other states do as well. All across the United States, there's a total of 15 Veterans Business Outreach Centers that are live as of right now. We should be having 6 more coming online here in the very near future. With that being said, if any veterans that are interested in the services that we offer, or let's say a veteran's located in Washington State, they can simply visit sba.gov/VBOC to see which VBOC houses them.
Very good. David, this is Bill again. David Elizondo, kind enough to join us. David from the Veterans Business Outreach Center, responsible for the states of Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. David, obviously there are a lot of challenges out there, not just for veteran-owned businesses, but small businesses all have some of their unique challenges. But as far as specifically veteran-owned businesses, can you mention a few of the challenges that you and your staff have come across, and what are your recommendations for overcoming said challenges?
Well, some of the challenges faced is, how do I get started? That's most important. And that's where we kind of guide them initially to say, okay, these are steps to expect when you're proceeding. What are the different types of legal structures? This information is what we relay to veterans to make them aware of what they're getting themselves into. Case in point, myself, I used to be a small business owner. Unfortunately, that business no longer exists, but if I would have known the information I know now, then I'm sure my business would have still been thriving. But unfortunately, that's not the case. With the information I've learned, however, along the way is now I can assist veterans and any obstacles or challenges they may face along the way. Number one is trying to obtain capital. And a lot of veterans are always asking, how do I obtain a business loan, David? Sure, not a problem. Let me assist you with what to expect from financial institutions. They're expecting a business plan. They're expecting financial projections. That information sometimes may seem a little overwhelming to veterans. Some of them, hey, I got it, it's a piece of cake. But there are others that are saying, hey, David, could you please assist me? Not a problem. That's what we're here for. We provide templates, so it's not like a veteran starting a business plan from scratch. They have a basis, a foundation to go forward. The other thing as well I want veterans to keep in mind is making sure your credit score is up to par, because a lot of times veterans are saying, hey, what is the probability of me getting a business loan? Well, first off, what does your credit score look like? Have you done a credit check recently? Great
recommendations there, David. And as a United States Air Force veteran myself, Jim and I are both very supportive of veterans, and not just because I was in the Air Force. And I just want to point this out, David, and of course this goes to our listeners out there. I spoke with Ishmael from your office over the course of the last 72 hours, and I could tell from him, obviously from you as well, that you and your team have a passion for helping veterans. We salute you.
Very much so. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Myself, I'm an Air Force veteran. Ismael is also an Air Force veteran. We also have another business outreach specialist by the name of Juan Santos, who is prior U.S. Army. So our staff is all prior military, so we have that bond, we have that relationship. We try to establish rapport with these individuals walking through our offices. All of us have our backgrounds in business as well. Ismael just finished his master's in economics. Mr. Juan Santos is finishing his MBA. I finished my MBA this past December. So we are all extremely grateful to be in this position to help our fellow comrades.
Outstanding. And our men and women in uniform certainly deserve support. David, if any of our listeners want to contact VBOP, you or your staff, what should they do?
Sure. So if they want to contact our office directly, our phone number, area code is 956-665-8931, and that is for veterans that are living in Texas, Oklahoma, or Arkansas. For veterans that are outside the 3 respective states, simply visit sba.gov/VBOC.
Just to our listeners real quickly, the information, the phone number, and the website URL that David has passed along will be included in the description of this podcast. So we encourage everybody to get that info, just to, again, take a glance at the description of the podcast. Well, David, I know that you have been on the road this week. We, again, do appreciate you visiting with us, and hopefully our paths will cross again in the future.
Thank you very much, David.
Thanks very much, Bill and Jim. And one last note, I wanted to point out for veterans that are interested in taking classes pertaining to entrepreneurship, there's something called Boots to Business, and that particular module is designed over the course of 2 days, and it's a total of 8 business topics that are being covered. They're part of the transition assistance program for military installations, but also for veterans such as myself who no longer have access to go on base. They can simply visit or Google bootstobusiness.org to see where there's upcoming classes that are being held. And this is all across the United States as well.
So, folks, you heard David, Boots to Business. Go Google it and get on your way to growing your business. David, safe travels back to Edinburgh. And again, hopefully we'll speak again soon.
All right. Thank you very much, Bill and Jim.
Thank you.
Jim, of course, during your day job at BidPrime, you're a tenacious advocate on behalf of veterans. I've heard you on the phone. I see that the visit with David had particular meaning to you.
Well, I've said this a couple times last season. I mean, set-asides by definition. Well, you remember Terry Williams didn't like even having them called set-asides, the PTAC director of this region down here. But if you are going to have them, I think the one area that deserves a break from the government would be the people themselves that actually served the government in a capacity, in a military capacity, and to protect and serve, the rest of us here in the States. So I've always been a big proponent of doing everything we can to help our men and women when they come back from abroad.
Yeah, and any states that aren't meeting the targets, shame on you.
Shame, shame, shame.
Okay, Jim, our crazy bid lead-in. Everyone understands, folks who have been listening to the podcast for a while, everybody has an idea on how crazy bids has kind of set the big bid theory apart from the pack. Well,
or below.
Well, or below. Well, partner, you got out the shovel again over the course of the last week, and when we were at our production meeting yesterday with the group sitting around the table, and you gave the 35,000-foot view of this crazy bid, the room got silent.
They did. So first off, drum roll, please. Okay. Welcome to Crazy Bids That You Can Win. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this crazy bid is very simple. It's for a gender advisor. So what does that mean? And there's another one here. It's kind of a twofer, if you will.
It is hashtag crazy bids plural.
Yes. So it's or an associate director for gender and social inclusion. Right off the top, I'm thinking, okay, I mean, this is me. I'm totally going to win this because I'm sitting here looking at Bill, and I can tell you that's a guy. I look over there at Lauren. Lauren, it's a gal.
Lauren, stop that.
Go ahead. Totally. And so I look in the mirror, a little confusion, but I'm a guy. Okay. So I think that, I think that qualifies me. But so what this bid is actually for.
You always get to the actually part.
I hate that too. So what this bid is actually for is for the State Department to have somebody there for its employees that are, how do we say, gender fluid, I guess at this point, and gender with fluidity versus, you understand. So my question is this, Bill. Why are we spending money? Now, these, by the way, most of these are for employees overseas. Okay, so, for example, this one's for Sri Lanka. Now, knowing quite a few Sikhs personally, they're a very, very conservative people. You can always tell them that they're the people that live in India that have long hair and a turban. let's see, they have the 5 things, Bill. They've got their sword. They've got their wooden comb. Although they grow their hair out really long, and the wooden comb kind of confuses me. Maybe it helps them keep it up. Don't know, but that's cool. They have a sword. The other thing would be the scarab bracelet. And last but not least, and the best one, is the poofy pants. The poofy pants are awesome. I literally have almost converted to Sikhism.
Is that how they're listed in the catalog?
Yeah.
Poofy pants?
Yeah, and it's one size fits all. but anyway, so we're spending all this money for the State Department to go over there and help with these Sikhs that are in the midst of gender fluidity, while the state of North Carolina, the state of North Carolina is making a mockery out of the entire thing right now. I don't want to get too into this because, as we've said before, this podcast is not a rebel podcast. But you're sitting here in poofy pants, and you're telling everybody it's not a rebel podcast. That's right, with a big knife too. But I just think that we could literally, all joking aside, for those gender confused, okay, that's a real thing. It exists, and why not allocate these dollars being spent in Lahore, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka to let's put it all in North Carolina for now. Maybe they'll get a clue and pull their head out of the 50s. As far as the bid itself goes, I think I've got a 50-50 chance at winning it. I don't really know who else is going up against me, but that's it. So so I'm going to be a gender consultant. I'm going to be adding that to my resume.
Well, Jim, all I can say is I hope that your years of preparation, your years of education, they serve you well in your endeavor.
Thank you. I do as well. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Crazy bids that you can win. All
right, folks. Well, there you go. Again, #CrazyBids. That's our very own Jim Ward. That's going to do it for this episode. Please make a point to download, share, and follow The Big Bid Theory on iHeart, iTunes, SoundCloud, and Spreaker. And don't forget, good friends, Google Play and Pocket Cast as well. We're excited about that.
Yes, sir.
You can email me at bcallhane@bidprime.com or Jim at jward@bidprime.com. The show's Twitter is at The Big Bid Theory. Jim travels Twitter as Jim Ward, the number 6, Jim Ward 6. My handle is contract_hunter. Jim, I know you share with me a salute to David Elizondo, our veterans, and the fine folks at the Veterans Business Outreach Centers across the country. Don't forget there are 15 of them spread out across the U.S.
Yeah, and David, thank you. He was awesome.
He was.
He was great. One last thing for a parting shot, Bill. Last podcast, we interviewed the ladies of the lake from Great Lakes Biomimicry. I just wanted to let everyone know that they are just kicked off their fundraising campaign to increase the education of biomimicry. So this will be on the information with the podcast, but Great Lakes Biomimicry's fundraising has begun.
Very good. And segue, a reminder as well that you can get David's information on the description of the podcast as well. That'll do it for Jim, our amazing The Big Bid Theory team. Gratitude again to our nation's veterans and David Elizondo. Until next time, go Gunners, Barracudas, Tigers, and Bobcats. And we wish you all the best in growing your business.
We had so much fun on the Big Bid Theory. Not Jim and Bill, also the Big Bid Theory. Bill seems to know his stuff much more so than Jim. And we're talking government procurement with a crazy bill from him. Not Jim and Bill. On the Big Bid Theory. On the Big Bid Theory. The Big Bid Theory. The Big Bid Theory. Yeah, the Big Bid Theory.